Hello, I was on a train with my friend and I was writing an article and we got into an argument. I said the word is womb, which is WOMMBE. He said no, the word is vroom, which is VOMB. And we carried on like this for some time. And a gentleman sitting opposite said, "Excuse me, dear people, but I am an eminent gynecologist and I assure you the word is womb, which is WOMB. To which I replied, "My dear sir, with all due respects, you've never heard an elephant breaking wind." And that sets the tone of the show tonight.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, mate. I'm speechless.
Welcome to my guest. It's Chris the Gardner, who is also the Fockham Minister of Agriculture, without portfolio, because you lost it somewhere, didn't you?
No. And there's one simple policy, and that is just grow your own food. That's my policy.
Excellent. That's the policy.
That's the only policy we have.
Minister we want.
And don't use smelly things and pesticides and nasty things like that. No. Grow your own food, but do it organically. Yeah. Also, there you go. That's my policy.
Once you've hung people like Klaus Schmidt, and Tony Blair, Blair, and all that, would they be good on the compost, or would they make it sort of go a bit?
No, we're not gonna lower ourselves to their level, mate. Are we? We're putting them on an island, and we're gonna watch them closely, and we're gonna make each other. But we're not gonna do that, mate. We're not killing anybody, are we?
Excellent. Right.
No way.
Well, first of all, last week's show, wow, I've never known anything like it. YouTube,
it was cracking.
Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. But
that's good.
What's happened is I do apologise. Many people have put comments in, and I believe in answering every comment. I think that is the correct thing to do. And I spent about half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour, replying to someone's, Caroline, I think it was, comment, and I pressed reply, and suddenly her question disappeared and my answer disappeared. Now, I hope the person doesn't think it's I've done it. YouTube are up to old tricks again, and they keep doing it.
Well, there you go, mate. You've made your case now. Hopefully they'll watch this and they'll see. Yeah. I mean, but we know what goes on with YouTube, don't we? And anyone who's likely to be watching a video like this is probably going to know what potentially can happen with things on YouTube. I mean, if you disappear off YouTube one day, mate, it's not going to be a shock. I don't think, to most people that watch you. Hopefully they'll migrate to BitChute, find you there. You can upload a message there, can't you? And
that's right,
mate. I wouldn't hold out much hope though for Odyssey.
No, they want to buy it, don't they?
It's either been sold or up for sale. And I think potentially as well, there's been some problem because it used to be library, didn't it? And they used to give they used to give you like crypto, didn't they, for watching videos and commenting and stuff like that. And there's been some kind of issue with that as well. I think the crypto, library doesn't look like or Odyssey, sorry, doesn't look like a promising thing, mate, going forward. To be fair,
it's a shame because it's so nice,
but
it really is good.
I know. I've used it myself, mate, but this is what's going to happen to any platform that gains any kind of traction that is allowing people to give an alternative view. My gut feeling is it doesn't matter what it is. This is in some way, shape or form, they will crush it.
They will try, but they'll always find a way through.
Mate, we need alternatives to the internet. I mean, it would be great if we could get back into citizen band radio or something like that, mate.
Yeah. And I'll tell you another one. You know, there was a thing called duplicating machines, and people used to put spirits or something in there. They used to turn a handle, but do their own magazines. And you can pump loads of them out, leaflets and pamphlets, and they can't stop it. They don't know where it comes from.
No.
And this is the thing, so you can't stop.
The internet, they've got too much control over the net, mate.
Yeah.
For it to be, I mean, and I think the clue was in the title. I think it was always meant to be a place where we were supposed to be rounded up and trapped, hence the name, the internet and the World Wide Web. They're not accidents that they use these words, you know. We know that words are powerful, and we know that they play with words all the time. And that's why English, like you said to me before, is one of the worst languages, because of all the spelling and all the double meanings for words. It can't be good, can it?
Well, that's right. And also that legalese, you know, and I mean, you go into court and they speak a different language, but even though it's English, it's a different language. It's legalese. And it's all to hoodwink you. And this is what gets me. And we live in a world of hoodwinking now. See what gets my line on my nerves? Customer care.
We've done a whole show on that, Chris. We know that customer care gets on.
Anyway, we won't go back onto that. What I was going to say about
BitChute. I was there for it, mate.
Now, have BitChute, this is the question, have BitChute, are they on the magic mushrooms, or have they found the key to the gin cupboard? Because what's been happening is, and I'll just quickly show you. Right, here it is. This is my BitChute channel, and you notice that several shows have been uploaded twice, 3 times.
More than twice, some, yeah.
That's right. And when we got last week's show twice, that's not my doing, that's BitChute's doing. What they're doing, I haven't the foggiest idea, but I can't delete them because people have put comments on them.
They obviously love your content, Chris. They just think that it's worthy of more than one upload.
Maybe. So it's not me. I don't know what it is, but I think it might be the magic mushrooms myself. I think they're way on it.
Yeah. Perhaps the AI's taking magic mushrooms, mate. Perhaps that's what it is.
It could be. You never know.
Could be, couldn't it? Who knows where we're going with that one, mate? But
we're going to talk about vibrations and the things that people like how you can cure things with vibrations and things like that. But we're going to do a little bit of a roundup of news first of all, because someone in chat suggested that we do a quick roundup of you know, sort of current affairs and things. And this week, you see, David Cameron has been he's now the minister of what is it now?
He's the foreign minister, isn't he?
Foreign minister. Yeah. And apparently, allegedly, we don't know, about 14, 15 years ago, allegedly, it was said that he put his todger in a pig's head. And the question is, did the pig consent? Did it? That is the question.
We discussed this before we come on air.
I know.
I don't agree. I think if the pig's head was severed from the rest of the pig, then it's unlikely he gave consent for any of it. So I think potentially the pig got the rough end of the deal there.
Yes. I mean, are the sheep nervous near where he lives? That's the other question we got.
Mate, everybody's nervous that lives near him, I'm sure.
But I've decided to. I always think we should help our fellow citizens. Do you think so? Do your citizen's duty. And I've suggested a business for him. How about this? Here it is. What do you think? Cameron's pig head.
I think potentially could be onto a winner here. I think we've covered this on many occasions, haven't we? About your excess time and what you do with it.
This is out of the Fockham Hall Fockham Hall Times.
Mate. I'm just going to have to lift my glasses up to read. Oh my word!
Yes, you've got
customer reviews on the packaging, on the advert as well.
Yes.
And you've designed the packaging, mate. Again, I'm astounded, Chris, by your creative talent. I really am. That is brilliant.
But you can actually you can get this on the back of these. Remember these foot bobs, which you can get from the website.
Yeah. You've got Cameron on one of them, haven't you?
There we are. See, yeah, I've got here he is there. See,
yeah,
there he is, and it's all about the pig head sausages on the back. You see.
Oh, you've got them on there. Brilliant.
Yes, and I'd like to see, has anybody's printed these off and sort of given them to someone for them to say what their expression is, and I bet it's always the same. It's sort of delight. Oh, someone's giving me money, and then they go, oh,
not so much, no. You could trade them with amongst each other, couldn't you? They could end up having some kind of tenable value. I mean, to be fair, they are really, when you think about it, they are as valuable as the ones we pass around and give to each other anyway, aren't they? So
they are. I mean, what do you think about
they are
it?
when you think about it. It's only our belief in money that makes it a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it says on the note that it's an IOU, doesn't it?
Well, yes, I think they've taken that out now.
Have
I'm
they?
not sure. I think
Let's find out, mate. Wait a minute. I've got one.
Okay, righto.
I've got some. Yeah.
Got some readies.
Been out working hard. Don't let the tax man see this, will you?
No.
Right, let's have a look. No, it's still on there, mate. I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £10.
Excellent. And on the fob bob, it says, "I promise to give the bearer a happy smile."
Well, there you go. That's
even better, isn't it?
Yeah, so they are, mate. To be fair, yours are probably worth more, to be fair, than those. It's like I say, it's only our belief in it that makes it
well, that's
worth
right,
anything, mate. It is. Unfortunately, we haven't really got a viable alternative that I can see at the moment. You know my feelings on crypto, mate. I think it's brilliant, but it's not, is it? Because as soon as all they've got to do is pull the plug on the internet and where's your crypto?
Precisely.
Mate, I really value the concept of it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
But
well, I'll give you
your thought box.
This is a diary, an old-fashioned. I mean, look at the state of it. That's a working diary. Yeah. My diaries are always like that near the end of the year, all full of stuff inside. But the thing is, it doesn't require a battery. No. There's no software problem. All I do is just open it, and there it is. There, yeah, you've got one as well. Lovely.
There it is. Look, there it is.
Yeah, that's it. All full of scribbles, all kinds of things.
I put all kinds of nonsense in there, mate. Notes to for customers' gardens, and I mean your podcast go in there as well. So, like,
I got notes for this show in there because during the day I write it down because the diary is never far away, and I just live by that diary. I wouldn't do it any other way, and quite honestly, I'm not bothered because if the power goes down, I can still read it. But anyway, if you want your Fock Bobs, go to Fock 'em All Radio. Here it is. Go to Fock 'em All Radio. There's my website. And go down there and you can download them and spend them to your heart's delight.
Chris, there is a lot of action in chat already, my friend.
Right, we better go over there and have a quick shot.
Yeah.
Right, here we go.
I'd have a dive in quickly before you get completely overwhelmed.
We've got a lot of people. In fact, we've got someone that's now what we got here. We've got it's absolutely full this evening. I've never seen so many.
I was just about to say, mate. I mean, there is a lot of action in there already.
There really is. Now we got. Guess who was? Can anybody guess who was the first one?
I know, so I'll keep my mouth shut.
7:30. Here he is, yeah. Bob. Hello, Bob.
Evening, Bob.
Evening, Bob. Nice. And when we've got Aunt Sally. Evening, folks. Sally. I have a friend coming round tonight. Well, did you knock her out? Paul, I hope you get some smelling salts. That generally brings them round after you knocked them out tonight. So I will have to watch on catch up. Have a good show. Thank you very much.
I hope you have a beautiful evening, Aunt Sally, with your friend. I hope you do.
I do as well. And we've got Ralph Winter.
Ralph.
And we've got Sue Coe. Hello, Sue.
I don't think I've met Sue before.
I think Chris, Sue, are you from north of the border, or am I getting muddled up with somebody else?
What are you talking about, north of the border?
Well, Scotland.
No, God, no. I'm as.
No, you're not from north of the border. I'm talking about Sue. Is Sue from north?
Oh, Sue, you're asking Sue.
Right, you're from Norfolk, mate. You're not. You're blimey,
Sue. Evening, Sue. Yeah. I hope you're well.
Then we got here. Good evening, Mark. That's nice. And we've got
thanks, Mark.
Evening, Chris and Chris. Looking forward to the show.
DJ.
Thank you, mate. Thanks, DJ.
Mate. We'll do our best.
Yes, we certainly will. Evening
Louise.
all. Hope everyone is well. Much love. It's because Louise lives up the road to you, doesn't she?
She is round the corner. She's round here. So one day, mate, it's inevitable. I mean, I don't know what she looks like, but she knows what I look like. So one day I expect some random woman just to come up to me and say, "Are you Chris the gardener? I'm Louise." And that'd be lovely, mate. But yeah, Louise is very local to me, like 2 villages away from me.
Wow. Because I've had
Or
two.
maybe actually no, maybe a bit further. That might be a little bit disingenuous. Probably within sort of 10 to 12 miles, I should think. Probably 3 or 4 villages away. But she's definitely quite close to where I am.
That's brilliant. Because
Yeah.
I've actually had someone in Tesco's come up to me and say, "I know you."
Wicked.
He said, "Eric."
Fantastic, mate.
And then there was someone in the market. I was walking along, went, "Eric, what is it?" I looked around and they said,
marvelous. Mate, that's marvellous.
It's lovely. It was,
mate,
really.
From what I can see, from the time that I've been like involved and watching your podcast, you've definitely been gaining, especially on BitChute, but you've definitely been gaining traction, mate. And it's well deserved, my friend. You have some thought-provoking people on, and I mean, like last week, mate, was fantastic. Great solo effort, mate. Fantastic show.
Thank you very much.
And I'm not saying that to blow smoke up your ass. I watched it from start to finish. I enjoyed it, and it was good crack, mate. It was good crack. I thought it was good.
I deliberately didn't make notes on that one. I did it all from memory.
Mate. I think
it's better.
Mate, this is going to sound horrendous. I haven't made a single note for a single show that I've been on to you with. That's just, I've been a best man at weddings, mate, and not written speeches. I've just winged it and off the cuff on the day. I didn't even write a speech for my own wedding, mate.
That's the best way.
So, I find it is, mate. It's more organic. It's more, for me, it's the best way. No, not for everybody. I accept that. But for me, it's the best way, mate.
Well,
Tangent over.
That's right. Anyway, we've got here.
Hello, Cat.
Oh, it's old Cat. Hello, young Cat. Terribly sorry.
She's got a note. She's got a note, mate. So it's okay.
Sorry, I'm late. Got a note from my mum. That's good.
That's accepted, Cat.
Your mum was a very good cook, so I believe, because you told me how to do Yorkshire puddings, and it's the eggs. That's the secret to do good Yorkshire puddings. Not your mum did that, but Cat told me that. I think it's eggs.
Surely you always put eggs in Yorkshire puddings, don't you?
Yeah, but I only put one in because of a stingy git. But you apparently put.
Mate, you need 2 at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Now we've got here. Free speech must be stopped. It's the only way they have a hope of crushing our souls.
They'll try, Louise. They'll try. They won't achieve it. They'll have to put me in a camp, which I'm sure they will at some point.
But we'll all be in a camp together, so that'd be fun.
Mate. The camp will probably be. I mean, the torturous thing for me will be separated from my wife and my animals. But apart from that, mate, we'll try and make the camp as good as we can for ourselves.
That's right. And by the way, talking about camps and things, Christmas Day happens to be on a Monday. And before people question, yes, I will be broadcasting on Christmas Day with Fred the Plant. So it'd be Fred the Plant here. So he'll be
Chris, here. if in all sincerity, mate, if you want me to jump in for a half hour on Christmas Day to keep you company, I would happily do that. As long as it's in the evening, usual time, mate. Because during the day, it'll be over at mother's and the family stuff and all that, and going to see Jess's mum in the morning. But in the evening, mate, I would happily, I can't commit to 2 hours, but I'd happily jump in and keep you company for half an hour. And I'm sure a couple of other people would as well, mate, and do a half-hour stint.
Brilliant. Yeah, that'd be great.
That's what you need to do. Get a couple of people and say, look, come and do a half hour. I'd love to, mate. It'd be good fun. And it would be the Christmas thing to do in the tradition of the season, mate. Goodwill to all men. Thanks,
Chris, and certainly you'll be on Christmas Day. That'll be
it'd be a pleasure, mate. Honestly.
Okay. Now we got here. Answer. He said, "I am here. My friend hasn't turned up yet. I noticed another word last week. Hormones. Hormones.
Yeah, it's all there, isn't it, Aunt Sally? They play with us with this stuff. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Louise said, CB radio will be a good method of communication because they will bypass surveillance.
Yeah, I agree.
Like that, as old technology has been overridden by new tech.
Yeah, I think she's right. I think that is again something archaic like that would be useful, because like you say, I don't think that they, if they could monitor, I think they'd struggle to monitor a lot more than anything you do online.
Yeah, but well, it's strange, isn't it? Anyway, we've got a new person in chat, Wesley Curry 2. I am Wesley Curry. Hello, I'm in
Hello,
Hunt.
Wesley.
Oh well, everybody's got to be
West
somewhere.
Virginia, mate. He's in America.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So
Yeah.
we won't hold that against you. I lived in Chicago, the Windy City, many years before. I'm the man with the dove of Jesus. Oh well, and that's good. And it's nice to have you on the show.
Nice to meet you,
Great.
Wesley.
Yes, I thought they're going to say Huntington because we got a Huntington,
We have.
just not far from you.
It's a
It
crap hole, mate.
is
No
a
offense to anyone from Huntington,
yeah, yeah.
but I
Huntington in
struggle
England. We're
with
talking
Huntington.
about. Right, this should clear up any confusion you have about the subject you speak on, for you do hear entirely about it. Yes, of
You've
course.
lost me, Wesley, I'm afraid.
Yes, lost me a bit on that one. But anyway, shall we come back to chat a little bit later?
Yeah,
Uh,
that'd be cracking, mate.
I mean, my view, Mark Andrew says, go easy on the water this week, Chris. We don't want another coughing fit like last week. Oh, I couldn't get over that.
Took a while, didn't it, mate?
It
Yeah.
did, yes. Right. Anyway, we'll come back to a little star there, so I know where I finished off. Frequencies. Everything, I think it was Tesla that said everything vibrates and has a frequency.
Everything is in a constant state of, not just Tesla, mate. I'm pretty sure that's recognized within physics now, isn't it?
Yes. It is, because what is it? A table isn't really solid. It's all full of whatever
Well,
flying.
it's atoms, isn't it? Everything's made up of atoms, mate. And atoms are 99.9% nothing. And this got me thrown out of science, mate, at school when I questioned the whole validity of what we were being taught, when they tried to tell us about atoms and how they were made, and then tell us that they were solid objects and things. It was like, well, they can't be, can they? You've just told us that everything's pretty much not really there.
Well, I think that the big problem, science kind of goes so far it can't see the wood from the trees. That's the real big problem, because I've noticed if you study something, it's like with design. Now, my background, design. If you're designing something, in architecture, sometimes you think so deeply about it that you forget to look at the obvious.
Yeah, I agree, but not just in most fields of work, mate. That is applicable. Like in most things, if you do it regularly, it's easy just to overlook the basics sometimes.
It is very.
But isn't science, Chris? Isn't science supposed to be an evolution? Science. Whenever anyone tells you the science is settled, it ceases to become science and it becomes propaganda, because science is never settled. Isn't that the whole point of science?
Spot on.
It's an evolution, isn't it? It's a further understanding, and it's also being able to admit that perhaps you were wrong in your past understanding, and that there are new avenues and new things come to light. And that's the whole point of science, is it never stays still. It's never settled. It evolves, it changes as our understanding changes, or it should.
You're spot on there, because what gets me is, I mean, they've always said, oh, the science is settled that. But for example, in the 18th century, people saw meteorites coming through the sky. And the what's that big place in London? What's it now? The Astronomical Society, I think it was, said rocks are not in the sky, so they cannot come from the sky. Therefore, these people are lunatics.
Right.
But they did see rocks coming from the sky because they're meteorites.
They're meteorites, yeah. So again, so many things of that time that we our understanding has changed. It makes me smile today that 500 years ago everybody thought the world was flat, and then there came this new theory that it was a globe and it was round, and it took decades to convince people that, and now we've gone back to there being a core contingent of people who again believe it's flat, and they're looked upon as the crazy ones again. And it's just funny, because do you know what, mate? I don't profuse to flat earth globe. I don't know, but I don't really care. I've got far more pressing things to worry about than the shape of the thing that I'm situated on at the moment.
I agree.
Mate, I'm curious, of course, but really, I think there are far more important battles, mate. And I think that things like flat Earth are a distraction, and they're a problem within this group of people that we're in terms of, like, we need to put all that nonsense down at the moment. None of that matters. What matters is stopping this carnage that is coming. If we don't do something to stop it, our lives will not be our lives anymore. And anyone who's done a little bit of digging in the last 10 or 15 years or 20 years or however long, if you've looked at alternative information, you must see where it is going. You can't not see where it's going. That's where the focus needs to be. It needs to be putting all this other stuff down. Any kind of thing that divides us isn't even worth thinking about at the moment. What's important at the moment, mate, is getting on top of what's coming. If we don't, then it won't matter what shape we're on, because life won't be worth living, mate.
But what gets me though is that we've still got this. I mean, I'm not going to go. I don't want to get banned from the YouTube, because I won't be talking about what's happening in the Middle East. I won't go down that route. But
we've discussed it in touch.
And quite honestly, I'm on the side of the innocent person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Decent
always,
innocent
mate.
person.
Always, mate.
Regardless of who they are.
Exactly
And
that.
What annoys me is when they tell all these lies and things like that, they're doing the genuine people on any side that's been hurt or killed a great disservice, the way I see it, because it's the genuine people that I'm looking at. But I say talking about that sort of subject is for BitChute and not for YouTube. So I'm not going to go into that.
Most certainly. We've done our little skit on it, mate. If anybody wants to hear what me and Chris think on that, go to Forgotten Heroes, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yes.
We because that would have been beginning of October, pretty much when that, or middle of October, when that was just all kicking off, and I think we both made clear on there what we and I think we were both reasonably accurate. Nothing's changed, my opinion, since then, over what I thought was going on. Nothing's changed there. I think that if anything, that's just been more reinforced with any information that has come out. So we'll move on, Chris, before we get a strike.
That's right. I don't want another strike, because
mate, we don't. We don't need to discuss it. We've done it.
That's right.
We've, like I say, if anybody wants to know what we think about that, go and watch Forgotten Heroes, and you'll get our take on that.
And I think also up until I think it's the 30th of December, I'm in the naughty room. So if I say anything wrong,
you need to be careful.
Take the whole channel.
We need to be careful.
Yeah.
Let's go back to vibrations.
Now, Royal Rife made a machine that's
Royal Raymond Rife.
Raymond Rife. Rife,
I think. Mate, I could be wrong. I quite often am, but
you're correct. It is Rife. Yeah. And again, we won't go too deeply into it because it's YouTube. But his machines got all smashed up. He died a very broken man.
He did. He was destroyed, mate.
They've got the machines now, or similar, on the internet, but then
Russia, I think they use them in Russia, mate.
Do they?
I believe so. I've read or seen something that suggests that you can get treatment using those machines, I believe, in Russia. Could be wrong again. Don't hold me on that.
Like in the pyramids. Now, I've got some video films which are years old, which a friend of mine from Australia sent me, because their video setup is exactly the same as our one here in Britain. And it was a scientist that looked into the pyramids, and he said nothing to do with death or anything like that. They were healing centers. He believed
possibly
because of the resonance that's set up inside.
Yeah.
And sarcophagus inside, because they never found a dead body in there. And they said, oh, it's grave robbers. Well, would a grave robber
still take the body?
No, they're interested in the gold. They're not interested in a stiff, are they, really? When you come to think about it, putting it crudely. And as I've said, was it several weeks before, if you get the book Supernature, the author sadly passed away recently, that was printed in the 1970s. It shows you how to make a cardboard pyramid, and you can put razor blades underneath it, and they sharpen due to the resonance.
That's another thing I've heard, that in Russia they've been growing food in pyramids.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I actually grow my cabbages with copper pipe stuck
Yeah,
out.
I've got to look. I've got to look
Actually
into
got
this
an
copper
aerial.
thing. Yeah.
But bastard slugs, bastards, they're not put off by copper. They're not put
Right.
off at all.
Mate, that's not what I want to look into copper for. It's something to do with the copper and the relationship with copper and the soil and increasing yields and things like that. It's something that I've kind of skirted around. Robert introduced me to it first, and I've had a little look, but it's something that in the winter I really want to investigate and I want to learn about, because I really think there's some value and something potentially in that.
Well, have you seen these pyramids that you can make with epoxy?
No,
And
I
you've
haven't.
got crystals in them.
Right.
They set up positive resonance and they help plants grow. But apparently, you mustn't touch them because it can make you feel
Right.
quite ill. But it's
Okay.
very good for plants.
Right. Brilliant.
So that's something to look into.
Yeah. Yeah. Again,
Apparently,
this is brilliant
they
because we're
come in the
still on.
sky, so they say.
They what? Sorry, mate. I cut across you there.
I went on Electron this couple of years back, and a bloke who makes them, he was English, but he lived in France, and he
Right.
said these chemtrails. He showed pictures of chemtrails, and you know when you get the sort of like the soupy sky,
Yeah.
and there's a hole. We can see blue sky above it, and that was above this pyramid that he'd made.
Wow.
And he said if we all had a network of it, it would clean all the shit out of the
Clean the
sky.
shit out. Yeah.
And you can actually look it up on the internet how to make these pyramids, and you have to. It's quite expensive, this epoxy that you have to buy, because it is quite expensive, you know, to mix up. But you put crystals, and I think you put steel inside it, shavings, metal shavings in there, and it does something to clean the area around you and then clear the sky above you.
Right. It's worth a look as well, isn't it?
But it's a bit like these plants. Now I've got spider plants in this room, and they're air conditioned. They clean the air. They're brilliant at air cleaning, and that's why I have them in offices. Not only because they grow under low light and they grow almost anywhere,
and they're hard to kill, aren't they? Although I have managed to kill a few.
Well, I've managed to kill a few accidentally, but
if you don't water them for a year and a half, that'll do it, mate.
Well, I worked with a bloke who actually won a bet because he grew one on blotting paper. And it actually grew on blotting paper. That's how they are. Trouble is, they take over your room. They grow out the pot and they get huge.
Yeah, and they make a lot of babies, don't they?
Oh, I say they do. I mean, it's a knocking shot behind me of spider plants. But the thing is, they do clean the air, and I think snake plants as well. Yes, they're very good at that. And but unfortunately, they're pot bound. I can't get. I'm gonna have to get a bloody great enormous pot for it because they're getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? They've got quite strong root networks as well, haven't they? Quite thick roots.
And they're quite hardy. I mean, I keep one in the greenhouse. I don't heat the greenhouse, so
they'll survive the winter in a greenhouse, mate.
Yeah,
they will survive the winter in a greenhouse. They are hardy. A lot of people have them in conservatories, don't they, which get really cold as well. We've got some house plants, not spider plants. We've got a couple of house plants out in our little tiny porch thing, which is just like wood and glass, basically. But they seem to live every winter.
Well, if you want some cuttings, what I can do is I've done this with a friend of mine who lived up north, and what I do is I'll cut them sort of in the afternoon, wrap them with moisture, put them in a plastic bag, shove them in an envelope, shove them in the post first class, and you get them the next day and just put them straight in the water.
I'd love some spider plant cuttings. We'll sort that out at some point.
And we'll sort that out. But the thing is,
we will. I don't know how the hell we got onto this tangent, mate.
Speed is the essence, because I would cut them at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, put them in the post for 5 o'clock, so they get to you next day.
Yeah.
So that would be, you know, and not coupling, because couple might not survive. You don't know.
No, that's true. But yeah, that'd be marvelous, mate. What a wonderful tangent.
Anyway, another tangent. But the other thing I was going to say is about frequencies. have you ever found that you've been in a room and someone comes into that room and they're
Oh,
giving
God,
off
yeah.
a negative
Oh,
frequency?
mate.
You go,
Let me tell you a quick story, Chris. Let me
mm,
tell you a quick story. So this goes back to my time in social care.
mm-hmm,
And I worked in one of the last jobs I did. I demoted myself of all responsibility and took a job as a support, just not just a support, but as a support worker. Whereas prior to that, mate, I'd been running 4 or 5 services and all sorts of,
mm-hmm,
responsibilities. But I just wanted to go back to basics. Anyway, long story short, I got a job in this. It was a home. It was a home for adults with learning disabilities. There were 7 adults that lived in the main house, 3 that lived in a separate building in the garden, and then 3 more that lived in another house 500 yards up the road. And it was all managed by one chap. And I'm not sure if they're married, but his partner had just come back off maternity leave, and I was in this separate building outside with another member of staff and the 3 tenants there supporting them. And she walked in through the back door, mate, and I have never in my life, and I can feel energy shifts and things like that, mate, and I get good vibes and bad vibes off people, but I've never known a room go so dark so quick as when she walked into it, mate. The energy shifted from happy, high vibration energy to like the lowest, mate. The second she walked in, it like that, the energy just changed in the room, and yeah, she was, I think, potentially quite a nasty person, and that I've never felt that in my life prior to that, and I don't think I've ever felt it like that since, where somebody has made such an impact on a room by walking in. But yes, mate, absolutely felt that.
mm. Well, I got this with an in-law, a future in-law, when I was a kid who came into a house. Now, I lived in it was like a happy sort of family, you know, he was always laughing and joking and that. And suddenly this character came in and it was like a mist, a negative, just going straight like this. And all the kind of lifeblood drew out of us. And in the end, it's what they call psychic vampires, because when this character married my sister, and when you visited them, it took you 3 days to get over it because you was emotionally and physically exhausted.
Right,
They would take your energy out of you. You'd be
absolutely, yeah.
you'd
They
be
drain
falling
you,
up.
don't
They'd drain you.
they?
But there was something that you couldn't put it into words. You
No,
couldn't write
no,
it down
get
when
it.
it's like an energy, a negative energy that was coming in.
Yeah,
And
totally get it. Again, the chap that that I parted company with quite recently was very much like that, like a drain on my energy,
hmm.
um, and,
Oh,
and the difference I felt in myself, mate, since we've stopped working together has been, I've been smashing out 6 and 7 day weeks, mate, which I haven't done for a long time, and I've found it, uh, a much different experience now that I'm working on my own again. Yeah,
I
he
can see
sucked a
you look
lot
a
of
lot
energy out.
happier, Chris. You're always
Sorry,
happy,
mate.
but I can see you're a lot happier, more
Mate,
relaxed.
just
Because,
yeah, I'm just
yeah,
more at peace. That's the main thing, mate. Is there's not the constant threat of any kind of conflict or confrontation hanging over me. Oh, goodbye. That, mate.
hey,
I think that's our
the light
quickest.
has
I think
come.
that's our mate. That's our earliest 38 minutes.
38
That's
minutes. That's the earliest
yeah.
one.
I think so,
It's funny
mate.
that, isn't it? Yeah,
Potentially, it's up there.
weird, isn't it? It's very
Yeah.
bloody weird.
It's mate, it's just one of them, weird, unexplained anomalies that comes with knowing you.
Well, I don't know. It's just another weird thing I've actually found, not only with negative energies, but you walk into a place. Now, I mean, I've said this many times before. I was freelance, so I'd be sort of working, say, a couple of months one place, couple of months other place, and you walk into an office and you'd feel an energy there. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it was,
Yeah.
God, hell, I don't like this, and you knew you wasn't going to be there long because your face didn't
Yeah,
fit.
totally, mate. I get that even now with customers.
Do you find that with some customers, you think,
Oh, mate, all the time. I know when I go there the first time whether it's going to last or not. And I mean, I've had some that have gone for 2 years before they've come to a conclusion, but I always knew they were never going to be long term. Yeah, you just know. Like I say, I'm quite good, mate, at picking energy up off of people. I'm quite good at calling out somebody who I think, you know, I've said to you before, there've been people in my wife's life that she's known, everybody's thought they're marvelous. First time I've met them, I've been like, not good. And she's like, no. And then they've proved me right. It might take a couple of years or whatever, but the person I've had my doubts about has always proved me right.
You can pick it up. You don't know quite what it is.
It's got to be the vibration, hasn't it, mate? I think it is. I think if you're a bit in tune, intuitive, you know, if you've got that, I'm not going to call it an ability because I think anyone can. I think I think the more in touch you come with source, the closer you become. Well, I'm not going to call it God, but the creator, source, whatever you want to call it. I think the more in tune you come with that yourself, the more intuitive you become. That's my experience. The more
I agree with you. Yes.
The more I've broken away from things like television programming, because that's what it is, guys. It's sorry, I shouldn't use that word. That's what it is, people. You see, I'm trying, Chris. This is the thing. Guys has been programmed into me for decades. I've used that term because I've heard it and I've copied it and I've used it. And now I understand the meaning of it. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying so hard not to use that term.
I'm similar. There's certain things you've always used. You think, well, hang on a minute. You know, you think, I'm not being politically correct or anything like that, but you think these words, you know,
I don't want to use that word anymore.
I mean, I think that with the television, they're terrible for programming you to say things and things like that. Yeah, but what you know, getting back to this frequency that people get off now. I mean, there's a book I haven't heard of him for a long time. Thomas Sheridan wrote a book called Puzzling People.
Right.
And it was about psychopaths. Now, I didn't agree with all what was in there. I politely and respectfully didn't agree, but Thomas could be right and I could be wrong. So we don't really sort of like that. But he did say that psychopaths, which I haven't found, they perspire very, very heavily all the time because they've got an overabundance of testosterone. But I've found that the psychopaths I come up against, a lot of them don't perspire heavily.
No, I was going to say I wouldn't use that as a rule of thumb because I think a lot of the psychopaths that I've known are very calm and measured people and don't really give the impression that they're a psychopath until you kind of sort of scratch the surface and then the more you get to know them, the more you realize. So no, I don't necessarily agree. I mean, you know, psychopaths come in all kinds of shapes and sizes, I think.
Oh yes.
I don't think you can generalize and say all psychopaths are this or all psychopaths are that. I think they come in all kinds of packages.
Oh, there's several groups of them because I started writing a book.
I would suggest that
there are different. I mean, there's some that are harmless, totally harmless.
Chris,
and
this is probably going to get me hung, drawn, and quartered, mate. But I would suggest that the Queen was a psychopath.
Yes, I agree with you.
I'm sorry, but if you've got all that wealth and you could solve the problems, which you could 10 times over of the people that you're supposed to rule over and govern. And the people of your kingdom. I'm sorry, but I couldn't sit back and watch the problems that are in this world, knowing that I had some kind of ability to do something about them. I think if your only objective is to amass as much wealth as you can and screw everyone else, then you're a psychopath.
Well, that's right. I agree with you. But when you look at a family tree, that's why they like to intermarry because it's been very good.
It keeps
their wealth, doesn't it? Really
keeps it in the family, doesn't it, mate? And it stops any of the commoners getting their hands on it.
Well, could you walk around, everybody bowing and scraping to you?
Yes, no.
Chris. Hello. I tell, sod off, talk to me.
Mate, it's inevitable, isn't it? Chris, it's inevitable. I'm going to bump into one of them one day, living where I do, them being neighbours to us, them literally living a mile, 2 miles up the road from where I live. I mean, they're about round here all the time. I won't bow though, mate. I will not.
Nor would I.
No.
They should bow to me. But I mean, when you look at, by the way, did you know that near you is a German cemetery from World War II?
Yeah, you mentioned something about that being in Sandringham.
That's right. Last
Yeah,
week. Because what
yeah,
happened is
last week. I didn't prior to you telling me, mate. I'll be honest with you. No,
it's
I'll
actually
have
in
to have a look.
Sandringham.
Yeah, I'll
And
have to have a shifty and try and find out about it for you, mate.
I think it's about 30 graves.
Right.
And they are from aircrew that were shot down.
Yeah.
And after the war, it was agreed that all the German aircrew that would be buried in one place. I'm not sure where that is, somewhere in England. And they overlooked Sandringham and a few other places. But I
Because
don't know
there
whether
was
to ship back to Germany, because I would have thought that would have been the logical thing to do, the politest, nicest thing to
well,
do.
yeah, you'd have thought so. There was a German bomber come down in Wolverton, mate, which is like next village to me again. That's kind of like, so you go Dersenham, then
Yeah.
you go Wolverton, and Sandringham's kind of like almost in between, but off to the side, if you know what I mean. So, but Wolverton had a bomber come down in during the war. I think there was, I think they were killed, so they potentially could be in there.
Well, when you look at their ages, they were boys. 19, 20,
Mate,
21.
it's disgusting. War is disgusting, Chris. You know it is, mate. We
Oh,
both
it is.
do. It's dark. It is dark.
Oh, it's
That
satanic.
that you could send your brightest and youngest, and the ones that come back, they're ruined for the rest of their lives. My uncle Herbie, he was a prisoner of war with the Japanese in the Second World War, and he came home, and within 5 or 10 years of him coming home, his wife also developed some form of paralysis, so she spent the rest of her life in a wheelchair. He drank a bottle of vodka, mate, every single day of his life until he killed himself with it. That's what he did.
Yes.
That's what war does, mate.
You're correct.
And I never, as a kid, never saw him sober. Never. I never saw him sober. I mean, he must have died when I was in my teens. I can't remember. But the poor bugger, he was traumatized, mate. And people like, I love David Icke's take on it. What if we had a war and nobody turned up? Brilliant. You know, like it's what we need, mate. It just got to stop the wars.
But between you and I, and the rest of the audience, I know for a fact that it was some regulars as well, because a lot of people join the army because they were hungry. They came from big families, and it was
a lot, mate.
It's
poor people, isn't
for
it?
a career. And I mean, my dad, he was with an RAF bloke who was from Southern Ireland, and there was an accountant in the RAF. An actual accountant in the RAF, and all the services were came under what they're all intermingled in the in Malta, so they're all part of each other.
Quite common.
That's right. And the thing is that my dad had shell shock that was never treated, so he lived the World War II every day of his life for the rest of his life, and that's why I could go on automatic talking about it, because from an early age, all I heard was World War II. Yeah. So I could actually, I could sit here and waffle on about it for hours, because.
Mate, same here, because everybody, like, even as a kid, I had value for old people. I'd spend a lot of time with my grandparents and a lot of time with their neighbours. And one of the neighbours, Bill Pike, he landed on beaches on Normandy. And he'd fought right through to Holland, right through till the end of the war. And he'd seen all sorts, including his best mate being shot in the head on D-Day. And, you know, like you, it was an omnipresent. Everybody wanted, it was the biggest thing that had happened in their lives. You know, they'd lived through 6 years of it. And completely bought into it, as most people did in that day and age, you know.
That's right.
And
they couldn't get out of it, though, because they were conscripts. You just couldn't get out of it.
No, exactly that, mate.
You didn't have a choice. And
you were everybody was kind of bombarded with it, weren't they? It affected every facet of everybody's lives.
Well, that's it.
Wasn't really any escape in it.
What they don't realise is that bomb disposal, many of those, majority, not all, but majority of them, were conscientious objectors, and they either became stretcher bearers or bomb disposal.
Yeah.
And there was a very sad film I saw years ago on the television, and it's when I was a kid, and it was made after the war, and the British bomb disposal got together with a German bomb disposal. And German bomb disposal was full of sort of blokes with sort of glasses like beer bottles, you know, real sort of studious type, really nice people. A lot of them could speak English. And they went out defusing these bombs and that. And at the end of the film, they had the big list, and most of them had got killed. And that was in 1948. They were doing that, 48, 49.
Yeah, well, it went on. It went on right into the 60s, did it? In the UK, I mean, they were every time they started building a new building in London, they'd end up having to have the bomb disposal out, wouldn't they? Because they'd find ordnance from the Blitz and that still lodged in the side of buildings and things.
Well, I worked on the. I was one of the site architects on the Billingsgate redevelopment, and we was in our offices one day, and it looked out right over the Thames, you see, and I was sort of had a cup of coffee there, and suddenly there's this, you know, those muck boats that they have going down the Thames that are full of spoil. Well, there's this sort of like police boats flashing, like the army ones, sorry, an army squad is all like this. I was thinking, well, they're guarding a pile of shit. You know, everybody's rather interested. Went past the window. It's bloody strange, you know. Went past, you know, underneath the Tower Bridge. And that night in the, I can't remember, was it Evening Standard? It said that they found a big Herman bomb and it was live. So what they did, they took it live with the spot. That's what it was. Went past our window. I don't think it would have been still there going, oh, look at that, you know. And they took it to Tilbury and exploded it at Tilbury.
Yeah,
because they couldn't diffuse it. It's so corroded.
No, so they just had to take it out for the best.
But what do they have blokes guarding it? I mean, is someone going to run off with it? I mean,
no, and isn't that just putting more people than necessary at risk?
Yeah, it's
I would
weird.
have thought that would have been a one-man job on that boat. Yeah. You know, it would have been like, we need one chap to drive this boat, and that's it.
Because, you know, the other thing that they did a lot of films about, and they did a lot of documentaries about, and it kept happening, is sea mines washing up that was still live under piers. Right. So you'd be walking along a pier, there's a bloody sea mine trapped there, and it could go off at any moment.
Yeah.
A lot of sea mines they had washing up on the coasts and that.
Well, there was a lot washed up in Norfolk, mate. There's one, if anyone who's been to Hunston, if you go to Hunston by the green, at the bottom of the green, there's one painted, I think it's still painted red and white, but it's been there for decades, and that was one that washed up on the beach there, that they diffused and then stuck it on a bit of concrete with a little plaque to tell everybody what it was.
Well, the funny thing is, there's a neighbour of ours, he went to France with his missus. He came back with a souvenir. He'd been to Normandy, and it was a bullet on a keychain. My dad said, "That's a live bullet." Oh no! I know a live bullet. I was in the army for 6 years.
Well, it's not difficult.
Get rid of it. And this bloke was a policeman. Right. He moved away. He said, "That's a live bullet, I tell you." Yeah. He said, "They're selling them as souvenirs." He said, "If you hit that, it'll go off."
Bang, yeah.
He said, you know.
And it wouldn't take a lot, mate.
Either put it in a vice and hit it with a back with a hammer so it shows off, or take it somewhere where you can safely dispose of it. He said, I won't walk around with that in your pocket if I was you, you know.
No, I wouldn't, mate.
And it was a live
goodies.
And, you know.
Yeah, you have your nuts blown off, mate. That would be painful.
It was like the stupid with the hand grenade. It was, 6, isn't it? That's what you do. So pulls a pin out like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Say I 6. but no, back to violations and things.
Chris, while we're on that, can I just say something about Mr. Rife as well? Because something I feel that we left out that we really should have mentioned was
correct. Yes.
Like you said, this man was destroyed and had his machines and all his research. And not only that, he invented the most powerful microscope at the time. He was one of the first people to be able to see things that nobody had ever seen before, because he invented his own microscope. The man was a genius.
Yes.
And they destroyed that as well. But what I wanted to say was, there was in 1931, I think it was, the AMA, the American Medical Association, held a dinner in his honor, because the machine that he created, they said, was potentially able to eradicate all diseases and illnesses. And it was acknowledged at first that he had got something, but then I think when the petrochemical industry and big pharma and Rockefeller medicine and all that came into play, that obviously couldn't be allowed to continue, because there was going to be a whole industry built up around one particular thing that we know about, which obviously I'm not going to mention, but you know what I'm saying, don't you?
I know what you're saying, because I think Kate Bush, she did a, was that about, I'm not sure if it's about Rife. I think it's partly about Rife. She did that thing, that was it going up the hill, or what was it? You know, she did that, and that was based on him, I think.
Was it? I don't know,
yes,
mate. I really don't. But yes. The man was a genius. He's somebody who should be, you know, he should have been, his place in history should have been sealed. He was a genius. He was well ahead of his time, and he had some fantastic ideas, but they didn't fit in with what they had planned for the future. So he had to be like Tesla, mate, another person who, I mean, so much of what we use these days was down to Nikola Tesla, and yet most people don't even know that the guy existed.
Well, the thing is with Nikola Tesla, there's a lot of things that he built and they didn't quite know what it was. I mean, he believed that you could actually pick up electricity through the ether, through the air.
Well, he did it, mate. He plugged he screwed light bulbs into the ground and lit them up without wires from 200 yards away. He did that.
Well, did I ever tell you what happened on Finsbury Park Station one evening when it's chucking it down? Well, I wouldn't say chucking it down in rain, but it was raining and I had an umbrella up and I was waiting on the station for a train to go into Hertfordshire, and I was standing there and I was coming out from work, a bit fed up, and suddenly I felt this bzzz in my head. Lifted the umbrella up, lowered it a little bit, bzzz. I thought, what the bloody hell's that? And it was charged drain, and it was from the overhead power cables. Right. It was shorting down. It wasn't hurting me at all.
No.
And apparently there was like a spark. And after that, I started to lose my hair. Funny enough, because I had a full head.
You need to sue British Rail, mate.
Yeah, probably I should sue British Rail for it. But no, it's really weird, and it's a scientific thing. It was charged drain.
Okay.
And yeah, it's really.
Didn't even know it existed.
Because I thought it was a bee or something. I thought, what's that funny buzzing noise? I thought, I've got a bee on my head. Bzz, 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 bzz. I was thinking, strange. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Because it was, you know, when you get this heavy drizzle. Yeah. It had been like, you know, that heavy
wet
drizzle.
Rain, I call that.
Yeah, wet rain. And it was, I didn't have a hat on. Well, no, because I had a full head of hair in those days. So I wouldn't have had. I think it must have been winter, but sort of mild winter, probably this time of year. But not that cold, you know. But yeah, I'll never forget that, because electricity, you know, you have got a kind of soup of frequencies. I mean, I've actually got a meter, and I actually show you, I've got a little bit of a film here. Now, where is it now? Which shows you the power of crystals. And I've shown it before. I don't know if you've seen it before, Chris, have you? The power
no, probably not, mate.
Right,
I'm very open-minded with crystals, though, to be fair. There's potentially something in that, certainly.
Right, well, it's Shongai, and as I'm trying to speak slower so I can find the bloody thing, because I found it before the show came on, but it'll be here somewhere. It's got to be here somewhere.
It's got to be, isn't it?
It's got to be, because I saw it before the show came on. And I was in a cafe. Here it is. I was in a cafe. You'll still see the sign. It's going to come on the middle, okay? But this is a crystal called Shongai, and how powerful it is. And I'm showing electromagnetic radiation, okay? And by the way, it was this hand that was on the machine. I've actually got one. I've got this here today. So here it is.
Take the Shongai away. It goes up and down, doesn't it? It's variable, but it's pretty high. And I think
it goes about 200.
Well, that's way over 1,000. Put it back.
Right, watch this. Shongai in front. 86. 04. 45. It went down to.
Yeah.
70.
Even like coming near to it.
So you as you introduce the crystal, it lowers the radiation.
That's right. This is a crystal. This is not shungite. This is something else which is very similar to shungite. Because you're going to
I
get
didn't
shungite.
realise you were so well genned up on crystals, Chris.
I
I'm
don't know
impressed.
that much. No, but
Well,
this.
you know more than me.
Well, I know very little, but this isn't shungite. This is similar to shungite, and
Right.
it helps cut the radiation in my room from the router, because I've got a router in this room.
Right.
And if you get shungite, it's they used it. I think Napoleonic Wars. You can only get it, as I say, from Russia. It's the only place you can get it from. They used to use it for cleaning water. They'd actually put it in their flask and that to clean water, and they'd have it around their neck, and they'd use it for all kinds of things. I want to get some, but there's a lot of fake shungite around. Apparently, it's coming from China and
Right, yeah.
where else. And you got to get you got to get the bee's
Mate,
knee.
if you're looking for crystals, I would suggest, I don't know if you're aware of the chap, but there is a gentleman who lives in Spain called Mark Bierski. I don't know if you've heard of Mark.
Yes, Mark
And he
on
has
the challenge show.
Yes, he has the Pure Energy Healing Clinic. But I would suggest anybody who was looking for any information on crystals, speak to Mark, because Mark is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the most beautiful human beings I have ever come across in my life. A very, very generous and pure soul. So if I mean, anything to do with crystals, if anybody wanted to know more, I would suggest you have a look at Mark's website, the Pure Energy Healing Clinic, because Mark definitely is a beautiful man, and he's done a lot to, especially for the independent media, mate, and he's just a kind, generous, giving, beautiful man.
I've heard him. He's a very, very kind. That comes across.
Oh, it comes to, mate, his energy. If we're talking about vibration, I mean, I haven't met the guy, I've never seen him, but you can feel vibration, I believe, in people's voice and things like that.
Oh yes, you definitely can. I mean, for example, if you can, I got mine off of eBay, but you can actually get a monitor, which monitors are about 10 quid, something like that, 10 or 15 pounds. And I was actually shocked. I went up to my well, you saw that on that film. Well, I just a power cable, just an ordinary power cable in a cafe, and that was giving readings of over 1,000. And then you got the shungite, it dropped about 100.
Well, it dropped to 25 at times.
25, yeah. So
it was insane.
Shungite is the thing to get. I mean, it's really something. But again, it's got to be from someone that really knows their stuff, because there's a lot of fakery going on, you know. But that meter, I've got it here. I think it's here. Where is it? No, I thought it's in this drawer. But I'll have to. It's here somewhere. But I bought it, and it's it tells it actually. I didn't know I was going to cover this subject, but
it's there somewhere.
It's there somewhere. But I got it because I'm very concerned about electromagnetic radiation, and it reads the electromagnetic radiation. So they're not expensive. They're about 12 quid.
Mate, I think we should all be concerned about electromagnetic radiation. I don't think, I mean, this is you're speaking to a gentleman here who's got Wi-Fi in his house. I don't like the Wi-Fi.
I've got it right next to
my
me.
wife's
This is why I've got this. This is why I've got this.
But do you know what, Chris? To be fair, if we didn't have the Wi-Fi, I wouldn't be speaking to you now, mate, because the Wi-Fi powers the tablet that we're doing this interview on. So, but I don't like I really like to switch it off at night, mate. I really would.
I sometimes do, but what shocked me is I got this electromagnetic frequency meter or whatever, and I went around my house, and every plug socket it goes off the scale. But then I walked into my porch, and it's low, and then I go up to the ceiling, and it goes off the scale again.
Yeah.
And so it's in the, and I realised there's a light fitting in the porch. But you go past a lamp outside, it goes off the scale. Right. And this is why some people have shungite around their neck.
That's something that is potentially worth me looking into, probably, mate. That's because I like to say I don't like the Wi-Fi, mate. I don't like the electromagnetic soup that I'm bathing in on a daily basis, mate. It can't be good for you. I never had Wi-Fi, mate, until. First time I had Wi-Fi would have been when I moved in with my ex in 2011. So that was the first time I ever experienced Wi-Fi. Prior to that, mate, I'd never had it. I'm pretty sure it screwed with my sleep back then, mate. Yeah. I don't
I
think
agree with you. I mean, mine's upstairs. I mean, my bedroom's next door to this room, and this is like it's a bedroom, but I'll convert it into an office. And I've actually got it within about 2 foot of me, the router.
Right.
But you see, this. I'm not sure what this is called. This is black. It's not shungoi, but it's similar. But I got this from a reputable place. But crystals, it's quite surprising how powerful they are. And do you think you got it in your watch? Got quartz crystals in your watches. But do you want to see that again? Quickly,
Go for it.
Let's go again.
Take the sunlight away. It goes up and down, doesn't it? It's variable, but it's pretty high. I think
goes
you're
about
pretty
200.
close to the sunlight. Well, that's way over 1,000. Put it back.
Right, watch this. Chongo in front. 86. 04. 45. It went down to.
Yeah.
70.
Even like coming near to it.
That is
Insane, mate.
That is insane. That really is.
Yes, it is. But again, it almost. I mean, if you've got any doubts about crystals, well, that certainly should make you think, if nothing else.
That's right.
Because something's happening there, isn't it?
That's right. I'm thinking of putting it around my neck as well, the shungoi, because it really is. Anyway, shall we have a quick look in chat, because
yes, let's.
We haven't.
I haven't really been paying much attention, to be fair, but yeah. Oh my God, there's loads again, Chris.
Right. Now we've got Wesley Curry. I'm not quite sure what you mean here, Wesley, but we'll read.
This is going to be classic, isn't it?
In your bellies, you have been shown a light like the shape of a very, very large pearl. It's the colour of white as snow. It is the Holy Spirit of Jesus Christ. In it is the vision of the valley. Well, I'll be straight with you. I don't quite understand it, but obviously you.
I get the impression that Mr. Curry is a perhaps some kind of follower of Christianity, perhaps, and I think perhaps that is the general sort of drift of his message is that he is and maybe he believes that we are being shown some form of light, Chris. I don't know.
Yes, I don't know, but I keep an open mind on everything.
Absolutely, mate, on everything. It's
very polite, so welcome, Yeah,
absolutely.
And we got here. Was it not too far? No, actually, Norfolk, UK isn't far from. Yes, from. Mr. Curry is actually in America.
We think West Virginia, Huntington, West Virginia.
That's right, Huntington.
God knows how he stumbled across us, Chris.
Yes, well, that's it. And I think if you could read, you can read his messages in chat. He's got lots of messages here. I can't read them. I hope you don't mind. I can't read them all out because I'll be, I've got to give everybody.
We've been down that road before, Chris, haven't we? We've spent 40 minutes reading comments out and managed to pretty much avoid the topic that the podcast was supposed to be about at times.
With crypto, the clue is in the name. This is Aunt Sally. Dead money.
Very perceptive, Aunt Sally. Very perceptive. Very good.
I don't think
seriously, not meaning to be patronising, but yeah, that's brilliant. That's true. Yeah.
Now let's have a look here, and then we got here. Perhaps David Cameron should have a sausage factory. Westminster is full of pigs.
Spot on, Hatchie. Spot on.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, imagine if he had. Can you imagine him walking around a pigsty and all the pigs are going, "Oh no, not him! No."
Oh mate, I'm sure the words got round. Yeah.
Yes. We do one more bowl with Wesley. Here we go. Oh, hang on, he's got another one here, but I'll just try and find one that's sums it up. What we got here. When I say your hedge is open, the latter rain enters it. That is how you have that comforting feeling like Christmas Day, which you had for 18 years, day and night. Not think about that one. I fully understand. Penny might drop. I don't know, but good luck to you, mate. It's just,
Interesting.
Yeah. Very interesting. And thank you for putting a comment in, even though I don't fully. I might twig it. You never know.
But carry on. I think always never let anybody try and make you something you're not. Be what you want to be, as long as you're not hurting anyone.
We don't take the mick out of anybody on this show. We laugh with people, yes.
Well, mate, no, that's not true. We do. We take the mickey out of the powers that ought not to be.
Oh, yeah.
That's who we take the mickey out.
They're up for it.
We do. We rip them.
Yeah.
We rip them.
No, we don't take the mickey out of anybody in chat, I think.
No, absolutely not. We're all one big happy family here.
That's right, yes. There. Hang on. Suko, yes, I'm in Blackpool. Really? Well, I suppose someone's got to be there, haven't they, really, when you come to think about it?
You see, you do this all the time. You're just rude about anywhere in the UK that somebody
I know,
mentions.
I'm very rude.
You're going to start hemorrhaging followers, Mr. Essex, if you carry on like this. Blackpool I've got some wonderful memories of Blackpool, Sue, because I grew up between Norfolk and Liverpool. So being in Liverpool, I was taken to Blackpool a lot, especially the illuminations and that this time of year. And I used to love Blackpool. So happy memories from Blackpool, Sue. I like Blackpool.
Yes, it's yes, I've never been there actually. So
haven't you, mate? It's all right, mate. I mean, yeah, it's got a rep for. There is a certain dark element. You get a lot of stag and hen parties there. There's a lot of people puking up at midday and things like that. But like I say, happy memories from Blackpool, mate. Loved it as a kid.
Southend is the one down here. Have you been to Southend?
I've been to Southend-on-Sea before, mate. I'm sure I have. That's Essex, isn't it?
That's right. They say that you can smell the sea air on a Thursday afternoon when the chip shops are shut, but I think you can. Yes, but yes, very famous Southend. What was it famous for?
Food.
Yes. Anyway,
for what?
For what's that? Crabs and winkles
or
and
jellied eels.
Jellied eels and all that. Yeah, that's very famous for that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and also it was very famous for typhoid as well, because in the 1930s they had a typhoid outbreak, and it was linked to the where they grow the what's that stuff they grow in water? Cress. They have watercress farms there, and the typhoid came from the watercress.
Oh.
Yeah, so there we go.
So they say.
Yes. Now, Louise has said, Chris has gone,
I know where Louise is.
Mate, if you know where
Louise is. Yeah, I know exactly where she means.
You and your good lady. Oh, that's
it
nice.
One day, Louise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
I know where Louise is now.
Now, we're talking about Yorkshire puddings now. We're now going off a frequency. The frequency of Yorkshire puddings. They vibrate, see?
Well, they vibrate better when you put 2 eggs in and you're not stingy.
Now, Kat Ollie says, good memory, Chris, because your mum was wasn't she, I think? Domestic
less. Mate, if you were making Yorkshire puddings for 4, I wouldn't want less than 3 eggs in there, to be fair.
3 or 4 eggs in Yorkshire?
Yeah, you're being tight, mate. 1 egg is...
I'm a tight-fisted bastard.
And look what's happening to your Yorkshire puddings, Chris.
I know.
You see, you get what you put in, my friend.
Well, I put a teaspoon of vinegar in, because 1 teaspoon of vinegar is as equivalent to 2 eggs. Wartime recipe. Got a wartime recipe book.
I'm not putting vinegar in my Yorkshire puddings, mate.
Oh.
That's got all kinds of rum on it.
Oh, Kat will be here on Christmas Day.
There you go.
That's it. And now we got here. I have a CB. You can get ointment for it. You can get ointment. Might have tablets for it. It is in my Land Rover. But hey ho, I can still communicate with others.
Ooh. Absolutely. Yeah. CB's, like I say, I think CB radio is the way forward, mate. If we all had CBs.
Yes. I didn't have one, but I used to see these.
I never did, mate. I remember. Yeah.
I was in this massive
with the massive aerials on, mate.
That's it. Well, I was in a traffic jam once, massive one, in Epping Forest, right way through the forest. And we're sitting there, and suddenly one of these blokes with the CB things does a quick 3-point turn and drives his car the opposite way. Another one does, and I thought, So
they knew something.
Followed them, but got out of the traffic jam.
Yeah, they obviously knew something via the radio. Yeah,
that's
mate,
right.
That is going to be the only way we're going to be able to communicate going forwards, mate. In 5, 10, who knows how many. I mean, have you seen, just a little bit touching off topic, but kind of on what Sue's saying, but this whole digital ID thing, mate, is moving at a pace now. The EU have now gone ahead with some form of legislation for their online digital ID thing. Basically, they're putting the wheels in motion. It's coming, mate. I'm not sure how we're going to negate that one, because I'm not going to do it. So what it's going to mean is it's probably going to mean I'm not going to have access to certain things, and obviously that list will get longer as the further we go on. But
hang on, Chris. I mean, remember when we was in lockdown, people were saying, will it ever come out of this? Will we be doing this in 10 years' time? I remember that. And I was thinking, and I was walking around Tesco's, the only person without something around my mouth, only one walking around and having security people say, "Excuse me, sir, have you got a mask?" You know, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, that, mate.
And I was beginning to get a bit depressed, thinking, well, this is going to go on for ages, you know. But anyway, guess who I was talking about in a nice way before the show?
Okay, spot on. Hiya, Debs.
Hello, Deb.
Oh, bless
Hello,
you.
folks. Just a quick pop in to make sure you're all well. Then crack an extra egg into the batter and leave it. That's it for the Yorkshire pudding. Whisk it through just before you pour the batter into the tin.
Interesting tip, Deb.
That's an interesting one. Yes, I remember Deb mentioning that one. That's an interesting one. And makes the Welders River made a big Yorkshire pud tonight.
Nice.
Up and crispy. Do you know what my mum used to do? She used to put half plain and half self-raising flour in. The bloody thing would take over the oven.
Right. Yeah, you don't need. I mean, I use plain flour when I make them, mate. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I use self-raising flour on crumbles, though, mate.
Yes. Oh, do you?
Give it a go.
I will give it a go.
Give it a go. Substitute your plain flour for self-raising, mate.
I use olive oil instead of fat. It comes up quite nice.
You're a rumman, aren't you?
Hey,
olive oil with apple crumble.
No, don't touch it, you know. Yeah, but remember, I'm tight-fisted. I get it cheap down the market.
Mate, you're a bizarre entity, but then we love that.
Roger, I do have the sick bag next to the table just in case. Anyway, good evening, all.
You're not selling your food to me here at all.
But well, you don't get many people join me for dinner. I wonder why.
Can't think, mate.
Right, we got here. That was Deb. So it's nice to see you again, Deb. And remember, there's a microphone waiting here, ready for you when you wish to come back. So, you know, no stress.
We need some form of moderator, Debs. We really do.
That's right. And someone to stop me telling my fart jokes, you know.
I don't think that's ever going to stop.
This is nice. Chin up, darling. You are greatly missed. Yes, you certainly are, you know. And everybody's saying it's very nice here. Here we go. And we got here, miss you all too. Have a great evening, folks. Don't forget to roundhouse kick that like button till we meet again. That's right. That's nice, yes. And what we got? We've got here bioresonance. I go to a lady in Whitby every month. I find it great. Bioresonance. Can you tell me more, Kat? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Whitby's
lovely, mate. I love Whitby with the old whale bones arch thing at Whitby and the little harbour. You been to Whitby, Chris?
No, it's I haven't got
beautiful,
a passport. Is it near Scarbados or Scar?
It's not near. It's probably about an hour and a half north, I think, of Scarbados. Really? Yeah, you look at a map and you think it's near, but it's at least an hour in the car, mate. I think a bit longer.
Because I think that's where John Wayne filmed a film, wasn't it, in Whitby? He came to Whitby.
Did he?
Yeah.
Whitby's a curious little place, mate, but it's beautiful. Whitby's lovely. I spent quite a bit of time there as a kid.
It's a bit like Cornwall without the weather.
Yeah, it is a bit, mate. I guess it is. And I haven't spent much time in Cornwall, but yeah, I can see why people would make that kind of resemblance. It is a bit Cornwallish. I had a friend who had a holiday house in Filey, which is in that sort of area, neck of the woods. So we used to go to Whitby quite a lot. It's nice.
Whitby would be very nice. See, the only trouble is, you see, anywhere north, it's very nice if it had a roof on it, because it's the weather. That's why I like going west, because the weather's better. Southwest is better
It's
weather.
definitely colder up north, mate. Definitely.
Cold, blimey, I'll say yes. Now, it's knowing how to stop it. The mess that's coming needs something en masse. I agree with you. Now, the other one is drinking water from a copper cup is supposed to be very beneficial. I looked that up on eBay. You can get them straight from India, these copper cups.
Okay,
So
interesting.
Yeah. But you got to wash them carefully. And I had a word with Miles, Dr. Miles Fleetwood, about that, and he was sort of, he didn't really give a decision either way, you know. Now it says here, Louise says, add some copper sulfate to your already existing.
Yeah, I've have read about copper sulfate, Louise, as well. Yeah, I really need to spend some time looking deeply into it. I just haven't had any time in the last sort of 6 months to do anything.
Now we got is this organite? Organite.
Right.
This might be organite.
Okay.
So this might be. So I don't know. It might be organite. No, but I want something to block. You know, so if anybody knows a good crystal person, so you know that one in Spain. But the trouble is, you'd have to send it from Spain, wouldn't he?
Mate, I don't think, mate, go
Mark
and have a look. Pure Energy Healing Clinic.
Yeah.
Mark Ryansky. Have a look, mate. I'm pretty sure he ships all over to the UK. I don't think it'd be a problem.
You should say ship. Oh, sorry, ships. I see. Because I ship all over the place. My neighbour's cat does.
Hello, Ruby.
Hello, Ancient Ruby. Oh, very late tonight. A note from parents, please. Here we go. Right. Then we got here. Some make it, but you can mail other organite pyramids and other shapes.
There you go.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Organite. Yes, that was that. Sorry.
So that's the pyramid, is it? Not the
organite. No, it was
right.
orgon. It was a
organite pyramid.
Wilhelm something, and he died mysteriously in jail in 1956 or 57, and he used to be able to control the weather.
Well, they've been doing that for decades, mate. No doubt.
That's right. And Kat's said on Facebook that she's going to send me some information through. So that's brilliant. Thanks, Kat. And actually, people question why I've got a Facebook page, but they don't see me posting on Facebook. I do, but only in the group. I only post this show on the main thing. I prefer to keep it in the group, and you know, I'm a bit snobby like that. No, but right, we got here. Good evening. That's Robert. Hello, Robert.
We were talking about you, mate. Your ears must have been burning.
Cool crumbs, I say yes.
Yeah, we were talking about him earlier, weren't we?
That's right. Oh, I like what you said. Your faith in the postal service. I was talking about the old plants. You're posting them to you, so that's all right, you know. We got that, so we go around it. Oh, crumbs! We got a hell of a lot in chat here. There we go. Ooh. Oh yes. I hope you're feeling better, Ancient Ruby. You were a bit Tom and Dick, weren't you? Coping better. Thank you, Louise. Bless you. Hope all is well with you, and thank you for asking. That's nice, isn't it? Here we go. Right, and we go around. And I think we come back to chat a bit. Oh, hang on. We got Urban Fox.
Hey, Wayne as well. Hello, mate.
Evening, Chris and Chris. Water placed inside pyramid shapes becomes purer. Seeds grow quick, and some sit inside pyramid shapes for healing.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, Wayne. Yeah. You see, there's definitely something to them pyramids. You say healing, the ones in Egypt. I think, maybe either that or some kind of power source or something like that. Maybe both.
Yes.
You know, maybe some kind of 0 point energy capture facility. I don't know, mate.
It's strange, isn't it? Yes. But,
They're not what we were told they were anyway. That's
Oh,
what
no.
I do know. And they weren't built by the Egyptians either.
Bless you, Aunt Sally. I won't read it out because very
that's
kind.
nice.
Thank you very much. That's much appreciated. It really is.
You've slipped the 50 quid in the post, have you, mate?
Yes, 50 quid.
Yeah.
Actually, look, I'll put a few of these in the post. How's that? You know?
Oh, mate, you're chucking 50s around now.
Thank you very much, Kat. That's very
She
kind.
might have been talking about me, Chris. You never know.
Thank you. So anyway, that's in the post, you know.
Yeah. I see how you do it now, mate. I know your game. Chucking your fucking money about.
We fucking money, yes. Like fucking hall, you know. I bet people, especially of late, whose presence is like a black.
Never good, mate. Yeah, I've met a few like that, Robert. I know exactly what you're talking about, mate. They say that woman that come into the room, mate. The energy that followed her in was shocking. It really was.
I met somebody the other day, and I won't go into the full details. And when they came past, sort of near me, I jumped because the aura around this person was. Ugh.
Oh my god!
I had to try and hide how I jumped out of the way.
Yeah,
it was so. Oh, it's very disturbing.
Yeah, it's never good, is it?
Some people put out a depressing atmosphere. Also, I find buildings and places radiate a negative atmosphere as well.
Oh, definitely certain locations, mate. Do you know, I've always struggled, and you're going to laugh at me, and I don't care because I'll just speak my truth, whatever it is. Reservoirs, mate. When I first walked the Pennine Way, reservoirs freaked me out. And you walk around a lot of reservoirs on the Pennine Way, by the way.
That's interesting.
But there's something about the energy around a reservoir that just, oh, mate, didn't enjoy it at all. And pylons as well, big electric pylons, mate.
Yes.
There's a bad energy around them.
Also, London, there's bad energy. I used to work in London. I couldn't wait to get out of it. And I don't like cities. And my cousin is exactly the same. And he walk miles rather than go anywhere, or go miles out of his way rather than go anywhere near a city. And it's just something about cities I just have no interest in.
Hey, cities are so impersonal, aren't they? I think we've touched on this before as well. Like, nobody's got time for anybody in a city. I mean, even now I notice little things. I mean, we've been living here now for 5 and a bit years, and we lived in town before that. Now, when I go back into Lynn, I've got this thing now because of where I live now, where I'll walk through the park in Lynn and I'll just say hello to people, like hello, afternoon, because that's what we do in the village. But a lot of people look at you like you got 3 heads or something, mate. You don't get many people say hello back.
I mean, round here it's 50-50. Sometimes people say hello, sometimes they don't, because they're building a lot of estates up. It's becoming very impersonal. But 20 or 30 years ago, everybody would say hello as you're walking past them. You know, hello and all this.
Well, mate, just quickly touching on the building new estates in Lynn now, they're building about 5,000 homes in Kings Lynn in the next couple of years, mate. They've got one site where I know they've got planning permission for 600, another one where they've got for 400, and there's a couple of other sites I think with a few hundred, but there's one up on the outskirts of town where they're going to build 4,000. So it's going to really stretch this already massively overstretched town, mate. We've had a lot of migration in this town from Eastern Europe and from Portugal, and no problem with those people at all, mate. But the simple fact is that we've got probably an extra 20,000 people on top of a town that 20 years ago had a population of 40,000.
Yeah. Well, around here, I mean, it's going like that. But the big problem is more people come crowded in, the more in person it becomes. And I think they've changed the regulations now, where building services, where you used to be able to phone up the local council and get the local building inspector along. You can't do that anymore. It's all been privatised.
You said this last week or a couple of weeks ago, didn't you, mate? Yeah,
1st of December, we've given, I won't say what housing developer it is, but a housing developer has left a monstrosity along the boundary of my neighbour's garden.
And it is a monstrosity. Yeah.
It is a monstrosity. And on the 1st of December, I've given them a deadline I've sent them details and plans in of how that can be rectified.
Yeah.
And they're doing everything to avoid it. So I've given them and after the 1st of December, we're going to have fun, because I said I'm going to go and put it on social media. So.
Oh, right. Marvellous. Name and shame.
So name and shame, but I'll quickly show you, talking about vibration. I showed you this the other week. Where is it? There it is. That's what it looks like. It's an abortion. You just look at it. I mean, it's vile. And that's my neighbour's fence in front. That's her drive. And then beyond that is what they put up.
I feel for your neighbour, mate. How long has she lived there?
Since 1976. And her husband has died March this year. And her son died September.
Oh.
And I'm fighting the case for her.
Good for you, mate.
It's going to be interesting, because I can't say too much at this stage, but I'm really going for the building developer.
Yeah, good for you, mate.
And, it's against I've done all the regulations, all this, that, and the other.
They're taking the P1SS, aren't they, mate? That looks shocking. It really does. And it's bad enough that they're building the development right up to a house anyway, but to put that, let's quote Sausage Fingers, shall we? To put that carbuncle up there, mate.
Yeah. That
monstrous carbuncle.
Well, it's a bodger. The whole estate's a bodger. Yeah, it's all fake.
It's new builds are, mate. I worked on new builds 20 years ago, mate, doing dry lining. And I can tell you now, mate, I wouldn't buy any property that was built in the last 30 years.
It's crap.
Yes. Oh, they're shocking, mate. Shocking. The things and the things they do as well when they build new builds. Mate, I know. I was, like I say, I was dry lining on them 20 years ago, and I know the kind of corners that are cut and the things. And not only that, the fact that they build on floodplains all the time, mate, and stuff like that.
Oh, I know that. And they can get away with murder now. Get away with anything. And I mean, there's two regulations. They're against the Health and Safety Act 1974 and also the Access to Land Act 1992. And I've also built it as, it's not quite building regulations because it's a fence, but I've actually drawn up details which have saved them a pile of money on how to rectify that problem. But because it involves brickwork, and the bricklayers are the most expensive people on site, they're trying to do everything to avoid it. And sods.
The brickies aren't that expensive, mate. It's not like they're costing millions, is it?
They're looking at, they're trying to save.
Yeah, well, they do. Yeah. Mate, that site's probably already had, I mean, I don't know, but a lot of new build sites now, BlackRock and Vanguard are going in and buying the whole site.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's happening where I live.
That's definitely happening, mate. That has definitely happened. That they've been going in and buying whole sites up from the developer before they've even put a brick down.
Now, Ancient Ruby said, I have post-traumatic stress disorder, not treated. I just get on with it. Yeah, I have.
Snap. Yeah. I was diagnosed with that over 10 years ago.
We've got hello, we've got Welsh Warrior.
Welsh Warrior.
Hello. Ex-frontline soldier here with PTSD.
Sorry, mate.
I have since woke up and turned my back on the tyranny and crap that is forced on us.
Good for you, mate. And
I wish you every success, because let's put it this way: my dad had untreated shell shock. That's what they called it. It's PTSD. And I've been there, seen it on a t-shirt. I've never been. Correction. I've never been into any battles or anything like that. But PTSD, yes, and
we're all traumatized, Chris.
We're all traumatized to a point. And yes, as I say, thank you for coming on. And
mate, I wish you well, Welsh Warrior. I really do.
And please look on the website www.warveteran.co.uk. I think you'll find it rather interesting. So
Absolutely.
now we got here, hereditous get folks, Gulf War syndrome. Yes.
Yeah,
I
I know what
agree.
you're talking about,
I know what
hereditary.
you mean. Yes, we won't
We
go any
know.
further. You know what I mean? You mean yes.
Yeah, we know what you mean.
But when we're going back to this vibration thing, hang on, I'll just put a little star where I've
Chris,
yeah.
One thing, if we're going to talk about vibration, mate, we should talk about where the lowest frequency is and where the highest frequency is, mate.
Correct. And I know where the lowest frequency is.
We both know where they both are, don't we, mate? Yeah. And
Westminster.
Yeah, it is, mate. It's fear, isn't it, mate? Fear is where your lowest vibrational frequency is. If you're vibrating in the frequency of fear, you're right at the bottom, aren't you? And that's why so much of what happens to try and keep us in that vibrational state.
I agree with you, but I mean, there was a picture of local politicians that I found, and I have to be straight with you, it looked like a bloody freak show. So,
oh mate, yeah, it's some peculiar ones.
And I told you about this was a couple of weeks ago when Jerry Hayes got on the same carriage as I got on, but I was in the second class and he got on the first. Yeah. And the whiff of the old ministerial armpit, you know. But there was some energy that these political types give off. Have you noticed this? That is not
I've
right.
had limited dealings with them. Mate, years ago, we had a local MP, Henry Bellingham, and I bumped into him in town during one of the elections, and he didn't vibrate at a particularly comfortable frequency. He definitely felt quite like he wasn't a nice person to be around. I didn't think. There was something about him. Yeah, I think you've got to be some form of, I don't know what you've got to be, but to want to be involved in that game, I think potentially there's something perhaps a little bit wrong with you from the start. If you feel a need to have control or power over other people, mate, I would suggest that there's probably something a little bit wrong with you.
Do you remember Adrian? Was it Adrian Ward? You might be able to correct me on this. He was I think he was a journalist that went in, and this was in the 60s. He became a political correspondent or something.
Right.
Said when he met these MPs, he instantly realised there was something deeply mentally wrong with them. Or there's something quite right with them, because I mean, we had around the election time. There was a picture of the local MP. Now, just picture this, okay? There he is talking about litter, and there he is picking litter up with a pair of bright white trousers on, clean white trousers, a barber jacket, and a pair of gloves that are 2 sizes too big. Okay, with a piece of, hang on,
with one piece of litter in his hand,
And here is your local MP. I won't mention his name. Now, would you go wearing a top quality barber jacket, which I can't afford, and a pair of white trousers picking up litter?
Not unless you're a complete.
You'd wear a pair of shitty jeans, wouldn't you? I mean,
of course you would. You'd wear your scruffs, wouldn't you, mate?
Well, that's right.
But he hasn't picked any litter up, has he? He just turned up for the photo.
Yeah.
And then buggered off again.
This is what gets me. That vibration they give off, it's something that is very, very. I can't put my finger on it.
They're potentially not even human, mate. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, Dr. Hare, who's a leading authority on psychopaths, I'm not saying all MPs are psychopaths, he said that he come very close to saying that they're not human. They're a sub-breed. Was
that the chap you had on?
No.
What was the name of the guy you had on, the schizophrenic nurse?
That was the show that was banned. That was Jerry Malwinski.
That's it, mate. He was brilliant. If you could get him on again, mate, he was fantastic.
They'd have to be on BitChute though, because
yeah. But you had him on with Jenny as well, mate. That was an awesome show. That was brilliant.
Yes.
That was.
Yes. That was. This is the chat. I'll be very brief with you. This is Dr. Hare.
A psychopath's relations with others are superficial, surface, very, very little depth. Mostly style over substance, and the idea is to impress others.
Dr. Hare.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
And you tap it into YouTube. He is a leading authority on it. He's written loads of books on it. Very, very interesting man. and he said that business is designed for psychopaths and the system's designed for psychopaths.
Yeah.
Because they will get to the top. And it's like playing chess against somebody where you have to walk out the room for 10 minutes whilst they make the move, and then you come back again. You know, it's chance of winning. You just want to stand a chance. And this is the thing: they cheat and they lie, and what gets me is how they can. I mean, I was talking about Jeremy Thorpe. Do you remember the Jeremy? Well, you probably don't remember the Jeremy.
Oh, he was the Liberal leader. Yeah, I know the one. The one that was accused of kidnapping some young chap or something, was it?
Oh, no, what happened is he had an affair with a bloke.
That's
in the
right.
60s. And what happened is this chap was going to blab to the press. So he paid an assassin to bump him off. But the assassin was so incompetent that he went, I think he went to Biggleswade instead of Barnstable or somewhere.
But Thorpe was
He's not by mistake.
But Thorpe never got prosecuted for any wrongdoing, did he?
He got away with it.
Yeah, he got away with it.
Is they were going into in the newspapers at that time the most explicit details. You know, Jeremy went into the bedroom and he was wearing
wagging his todger at me.
Yeah, and he got his socks on, and it was real. And they actually delayed the case until after the elections. So all this time this was going on. There's Jeremy Thorpe with his pork pie hat going round. I think it was Devon was his constituency. He said, "Hello, how are you all warriors?" As bold as brass, with no embarrassment to wear.
No shame.
Would die of embarrassment. None at all. And that's the thing.
Well, they don't, do they, mate? They've deleted a lot of the things that we've got. They haven't got things like empathy and self-awareness, and they just and shame. They don't. I don't believe they have these abilities anymore, mate. It's almost like they've been knocked out of them through generations.
I agree with you. I mean, I would have no. I think the best leadership is non-leadership. So you don't
absolutely have lead yourself. You don't need to be led by anybody.
That's right.
Know, lead yourself.
I often said, if you want to
look for the truth
in the mirror.
Sorry,
if you're looking for a leader, look in the mirror.
Exactly that. Yeah. And you'll find the truth about everything within yourself if you choose to. And again, you know, like we were saying earlier, getting closer to the source, whatever that is, you know, leading a harmonious life in balance and helping others as much as you can, disengaging from all the crap as much as you can. That is it. That is the answer to everything, mate.
Well, also, you're right there, Chris. You're spot on.
But Chris, just quickly before, because if we're not, we'll get to the end of the show and we won't have mentioned it. What is the highest frequency, mate, that we vibrate in?
Nature.
Love, isn't it?
Nature and love, because that
love
is that
just
love
at oneness with everything. Yeah, that purest frequency. When I always say, mate, and I have a lot of problems in my life. A lot of things go tits up and go wrong. It's how it was meant to be, mate. It was when we came on, mate. There's a little button on the side of the ride before you come on, and it says extreme ride, and you can tap it on your way in. And I tapped it on my way in, mate. I went for extreme ride, so I came in this time for an extreme ride, and that's what I've had, mate. And that's fine, you know, and that's how it was meant to be. But I've forgotten my point now. This is shocking, isn't it? I've just
don't worry. Think of something else. Come back. But the thing that is with nature.
Oh yeah, no, quickly, mate, quickly. What I was going to say was every problem I've ever dealt with, especially in the last 10 years, mate, what I'll throw at it is love. I'll throw love at the problem. Whatever the problem is, I'll throw as much love at it as I can. No matter how, you know, bad the situation, I will try and ride through it with love. And that is the answer, mate. That's the highest vibration.
Spot right on there. Absolutely spot
that
on.
was my point. I'm glad I got it out, because otherwise I'd have looked like a bumbling fool or more.
I'll tell you something else. Now, people are going to laugh at me when I say this and say, oh, come on. Every year, now I feed the birds every day and regularly, and it's mainly pigeons that come down. They're very nice and pruned, you know, they're not scraggy old pigeons.
No, really.
Around springtime, I was, you know, I kept the bird seed out in my shed, put it on the bird table, and I put it back in the shed. I had a pigeon come along with a beautiful beautiful twig come along near my foot, lay it on the floor, and retreat. And it got me choked because that was a kind of thanks for feeding them.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
It just happened twice. And last time, I think this year, they left it outside my kitchen door. I opened the door and there's this beautiful twig.
Mate, that's lovely.
And
I can't feed the birds, mate, because it encourages the rats.
I don't really get any rats around here.
We got a rat problem, mate.
There is. It's the building developers. They're the rats.
Yeah. No, we've got a proper rat problem
Really?
because we're in the countryside and there's fences next to fences. So a bit like your neighbour, but on a smaller scale. But there's like rat runs between a lot of the fences around here.
Try peppermint. Buy some peppermint tea and put them in the sheds, and they hate peppermint.
No, you'll like this. Mate, they have got as much right to be here as I have. I'm sorry, but they don't. I look out the kitchen window in the morning sometimes. I see them on the lawn cleaning themselves and that, and mate, they don't bother me.
Your shed, you can get rid of them by putting peppermint in.
I get them under the shed. I've had them in the shed with me at night before as well, mate. I can hear them scurrying around. I don't like that very much. And I will occasionally. There's a video on YouTube. Frequencies again. You can play this frequency video, and it'll drive the rats away, and it works, mate. So if they're bothering me too much, I'll whack that on for a bit, and that clears them out.
I don't believe in killing. I believe in deterrence.
No, me neither. No.
I think if you deter something, then that is the best thing. Just deterrent. They just clear off. I mean, I actually told. I had some film mice in my shed. I told them to go, and they went. I literally said, "Do you mind?" You know,
mate, it does it. I buy that completely. I talk to the plants all day, every day, mate. I talk to my plants. I encourage them to grow. I tell them how well they're doing. Yeah.
Fred's getting on very well.
Mate, I'll have to introduce you to Neville one day. Neville's upstairs.
Oh, Neville's upstairs.
I've had Neville since I was 19. When I moved into my first flat, my great granddad bought me Neville, and so Neville is nearly 30 years old, and he's had some abuse, mate. I mean, like in the times when I was off my face for like months at a time, Neville would have got no attention at all. But he survived. He's still here, mate. Neville's going strong.
Well, that's the thing, because remember, what is it? A calm sea never made a good captain. Those that go through the toughest tend to come out the other side far better people. And
certainly rode the storm, mate.
If I get those cuttings to you, Neville will have some baby.
Yeah, he could have some chums, couldn't he? We could pop them on the windowsill and they could hang down.
We'll have to work that out after the show. Now, I'll quickly, because we've only got 10 minutes.
Yes, it goes so quick.
We'll whiz through this.
Listen, Chris, just quickly, somebody bung in chat whether when they're watching this, whether it feels like it goes as quick as it does for us, because it never feels like it's been 2 hours, mate.
No, it doesn't.
It feels like half that amount of time when we've finished. I don't ever feel like we've been talking for 2 hours. I really hope people enjoy this or get something from it, mate. I really hope they do.
Well, I do, because I think, to be straight,
mate.
I don't know what BitChute's up to, but as I say, I decided
to enjoy it.
I thought, well, just let them bug it on several nights. I couldn't care less. But anyway, we got a lovely response.
Yeah, let's have it.
Louise for Welsh Warrior. Here we go.
That is marvellous,
Welsh
Louise.
Warrior, you joined to do right by your fellow man. That is honourable, I agree there. But as you know, those in power lie to you, and their dishonour is their shame.
Absolutely, Louise.
Spot
beautifully put as well.
I'll tell you what they do. They use you, and then they abuse you. They couldn't give a shit.
All of us, Chris, regardless of whether you're in the military or not, you just your value is on what you can do. And once there's going to come a point, mate, where once your value is no longer a positive thing, I think they won't even bother putting you in a camp, mate. They'll have the ability to just switch you off, and that's what they'll do.
Correct. Sean, when we truly recognise the awesome size of the cosmic joke we have been sold, the only thing we can do is laugh, and that's what I say.
Bloody agree, Sean. Yeah.
Now I'll have to skip a few. I hope you don't mind, people. But I'm sorry about this.
Mate, I think people, as long as you try and read one out from everyone that's been on there, mate.
I do my best. Now it says, thanks, Chris. But I've since qualified as a plumber. Oh, that's great. And heating installation engineer. My fight now is against the establishment.
Absolutely. That's where all our fights should be, mate. That is
Well,
that is what we need to do. Put our nonsense down and come together.
Well,
And
the thing
join.
is, if you want to, we had some chats on Fockham Hall Telegram. There's a link below there. If I might know my name. So you want to put something down on there. That's probably, you know. Now we got here. We give off vibrations. This is Urban Fox. This is Wayne. From our aura, depending on our emotional and spiritual states. These are picked up by the affect others. By and affect others.
Yeah.
Though not everyone consciously notices.
I'd agree with that, Wayne. I think you're right. I think your vibration can have a massive impact on people that you're around. I see. This is the thing, Chris. You'll relate to this. Just very quickly on Wayne's point.
Yeah.
Dogs, mate. Dogs are a great measure of people. In terms of like, I get it all the time, mate. When I'm working doing the garden at the vets, people bring their dogs in. I always ask before I say hello. I always say to the owner, "Can I say hello?" And sometimes they'll say, "Oh, she's a bit funny with men," or something like that. Mate, I crouch down, I get down low on the floor, I take my hat off because a lot of dogs are freaked out by the hat, and I just let them come to me, and 99 times out of 100, mate, they do.
I've actually found that dogs, I sort of had a girlfriend once. Well, I say girlfriend, we only sort of met each other about once or twice, didn't really get on, but she had a dog that usually goes for people, and this dog was quite happy with me, come over, quite sort of waved his tail.
Chris, you're breaking up a little bit, my end. I don't know if it's me or whether it's you that's gone.
It might be your end because it seems to be okay here.
You seem to be having. You're back. You're here. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I'm still here.
That's better, mate. You turned into a Dalek for a minute there.
Here we go.
Mate, that was it. I didn't get much of that. You were talking about somebody and a dog, but it was far too.
No, I went out with a girl a couple of times, and her dog was bloody bonkers, but he was all right with me. He used to come home and just wag its tail. He was quite friendly, quite sort of all right, you know.
Mate,
but, there was another one though with a Yorkshire Terrier. I already told Pete about that one. That well, an aggressive little bastard it was, but that's another story.
Well, Chris, just quickly, very, very quick. It's 10 seconds or 15 at the most. But when me and my wife met, our first date was we walked the dogs together. She had 2 and I had 1. She brought her dogs to my house. I opened the door. Her dogs ran into my house. The male dog, Gizmo, ran into my living room and pissed up my curtains, mate. It was the first thing he did when he came into my house.
Good heavens.
Yeah. And so he's been pissing on my curtains ever since.
It's when humans do it, you got to worry. That's the thing.
Mate, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what that says, but that was what he did.
Which I like what it says here. It says, I'd rather have rats, this is Bob Ollioke, in my garden than grass snakes.
Absolutely. Any kind of snakes.
Yeah, I've got grass snakes around here, yes.
Yeah, you get them a lot of them. They're prevalent in Westminster.
I say that.
Get a lot of them in London, mate.
And Bob has said karma is real. Yes, I agree.
Absolutely, Bob.
Spot on.
Totally agree, mate.
And this is Rob. Hello, Robert. The concept of the army of one is something that scared the bejesus out of the establishment. You may kill several hornets with a rolled up newspaper, but a swarm could kill.
Absolutely.
That's a bloody good one.
That's good stuff, mate. That's true.
Yeah. Yes. But now we got here. What is it? We're talking about rats and things. Now, got interesting here. Hatchy says the possibility of civil unrest grows by the
by the what, Hatchy?
By the week, maybe. What? By the what?
By the what?
But I think what they're trying to do, they've done this for years. They try and put what is it now? They try and stir up trouble with the natives. Hang on. He said he's got the rest of this now. Weak, Hal King, Chunky, and his.
Chunky and his bird of some description, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing is, And it says here, the fat controllers are desperate for us to kick
They
off.
are, and we shouldn't. We mustn't. That isn't going to help us. We don't need to. Just need to say no and stop doing it. That's all it takes.
But have you ever noticed that what they do is they're always subdividing people?
Yes. Yeah.
The idea of killing Germans today is out of the question, I'm pleased to say. But go back, 80 years? Oh no, it's perfectly acceptable, And
Chris, they'll bring it back in if they want to, mate. That's the thing. It all suits their agenda. Like, I don't believe there's such a thing as an organic war. I think they're all just set up as, like we said before, mate. It is just as simple, guys. Not guys, people. Not guys, people. It's as simple as just putting all our shit with each other down and refusing to comply with any nonsense.
Yeah.
If they try and bring in another scamdemic, then you don't do it. And don't be one of those people who knows it's all crap but still just goes along with it for a quiet life. Because you're the kind of people that, I mean, there aren't many things that grind my gears, mate, but that grinds my gears more than anything. If you know it's nonsense, especially if you've got children or if you've got grandchildren and you know it's nonsense, but you go along with it for a quiet life, shame on you. Shame on you. Absolute shame on you. Because how can you do that? What kind of future do you want for your lineage? What have you got? No shame. They're the people, and I've got friends that did that, and that wound me up.
Winds me up as well. And also, they don't notice controlled opposition. Controlled opposition's in their face, and they don't want to recognise it.
Maybe they just don't want to, mate. I think a lot of it, the blinkers are on because they just don't want the inconvenience to what is there in front of them. But it's so short-sighted. They might not be bothering you at the moment, but they will. It's that old adage, isn't it? First they came for the Jews, but I didn't speak out because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for the trade unionists, etc., etc. And then they came for me. And it is that. It really is. It's like the controlled, the police, people that work in the police that enforced all the crap during the nonsense. Those people, they're going to come for you. You're not. I mean, look at the robots Boston Dynamics have got now. You're not going to be around for much longer. You're as expendable as the rest of us.
Well, that's it. And also, I'm noticing that I'm getting fed up with this. For your safety, we have, they call them safety cameras. No, it's because I think you're a bleeding crook.
Yeah, exactly. They're just to spy on you, not for your safety. Yeah. Talking about safety, mate, one thing like I've used wood chippers and things like that. I love it when you get on the side of a wood chipper, a picture telling you not to put your leg in the wood chipper. They shouldn't do that, mate. Anyone who sticks their foot or their leg into a wood chipper, I'm sorry, that is natural selection, mate.
Oh,
you shouldn't put warnings on the side of machines for things like that. You stick your foot in a wood chipper, you deserve everything you're going to get.
I agree with you. And what is it? They said a car workshop manual 40 years ago told you how to charge your battery. A car workshop manual today tells you not to drink the battery acid.
Brilliant. Yeah. You can't fix modern cars, mate. They make them, the engines and the batteries, so inaccessible that, I want your, what is it, your Corolla?
Carina.
Yeah.
1989.
I know. I'm extremely sore that you. Well, I'm not sore. I'm happy for you, mate. But I just miss my 1987 Fiat Uno, and then after that, I had a 1993 Ford Mondeo, but one of the saloon ones. It was made in Belgium, not the UK.
That would have probably gone very well.
It was beautiful, mate. It was a lovely car. I managed to. What did I get for it? I bought it for 700. I think I got 400 for it. So not bad. I had it for a couple of years. So devaluated it a little, mate. It wasn't in a good nick. I'd used it for gardening. It wasn't in good condition.
Wow.
So,
but
and
by
I
the
just
way, you were saying about a trailer on your push bike.
Yes.
I saw a good idea. Why not? These shopping trolleys? Someone hooked one on the back of their bike.
Do Do you mean like a regular shopping cart that you would take it?
No,
You would get
yeah,
something?
world jobbies that the old ladies.
Oh, I know the ones you mean, like with the canvas
Yeah.
bags on.
Yeah, you could make a hook at the back of your bike, and then you've got a bike trailer.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, we got to round off now, and we haven't. Here's Dan MC.
Hey, Dan.
Military grade psychological welfare is good shit, 24/7, non-stop.
Always entertaining, Dan. Thank you.
And we'll round off on the note of Cat Holly. No, hang on, we've got Ancient Ruby. It's frightened big enough over one dog. Hang on, I'll press the wrong button. Here we go. And it says, everything is run from the City of London.
Potentially, yeah.
Yes. And as we talk, I've got to find the outro, which lovely Debs did, which I try and find every week. Here it is. And it just leaves me to say, I don't know if you've got anything more to say.
Not at all, mate. Thanks for the invite again. It's been a blast. It always is. Like I say, I always enjoy it, mate. I don't know if anybody else watching does, but I always get something from it. So thanks, Chris. Thanks for having us on.
Well, thanks for coming on. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Have a cracking evening, everybody. Take care, stay safe, and look after each other.
And remember, whatever happens, have a bloody good laugh. And I'll see you next Monday, same time, same place, and good night.